An inversion describes the relationship of a chord's bass note to the other notes in the chord. For instance, a C major triad contains the tones C, E, and G. Its inversion is determined by which of these tones is the bottom note in the chord. In other words, it's a chord in which all the expected notes are there, but the ordering has been changed so the root is no longer at the bottom. Here's a little graphic showing the same root, here C, highlighted in red, but in different positions within C major triads. For 3-note chords, triads, there are 3 possible positions, one for each possible bass note. The upper voices don't matter really. It is what is on the bottom that determines the inversion. The same process can be applied to 7th chords. It's just that since each 7th chord has 4 notes in it, you have 4 possible ways to arrange it, so a root position and then 3 inversions. Other than that, the principles of inversion are the same. Here's a quick preview, which could be helpful if you're here just to review the inversions ahead of a university course, exam, or composition project, showing all the inversions of a 5/7 in C major. So the root is G, in both full and abbreviated figured bass. Nonetheless, to prevent confusion and information overload, we'll focus on the first 2 inversions in this lesson and then spend the next lesson on 3rd inversion and some combined inversion-based analysis. As in triads, root position is simply called root position. The only difference is that the figured bass symbols for root position are 7-5-3 or simply 7, so we will move on to first inversion. First inversion looks like this. We'll still use C major's dominant 7th chord just to keep everything uniform for the time being. However, the inversions will look basically the same in staff notation for all types of 7th chords as we learned them in lessons 1 and 2 of this module. Taking the root G and moving it to the top, or just somewhere above the new bass note B, the resulting intervals above that new bass note will be 6, B to G, 5, B to F, and 3, B to D. It's usually abbreviated to 6-5. Generally, 6-5 chords of any quality like to resolve or move to a point of musical rest by bringing the bass note up by step and then the chord's 7th, here the thing that is now a 5th above the bass, or the F, down by step into the next chord. The resulting chord is in root position, usually, and more restful than the crunchy 6-5 chord. While this identifier would not be reliable if the notes are spread apart among different octaves, you could also look for the crunch between the notes that are a second apart and can't stack neatly onto the staff. Here, they'd be F and G. Because a second is the inversion of a 7th with the same 2 notes if we flipped their order, the top of the crunch, or second, will be the bottom of the 7th, and thus the root. Here, the G is the top of the crunch and the root. You can also take the top of the crunch idea to find the root within the second inversion of any 7th chord, with the only difference being that the original 7th chord's 5th is now your bass. The root is still G, and the notes in the 7th are still G, B, D, and F. We just now have D as the bass. This chord is a little more flexible in how you resolve it because the old 5th, D, which was a 5th above G when we were in root position, could move either up or down by step. The B, our old 3rd, does still need to resolve up by step, and the F, our 7th when in root position, does still need to resolve down by step. Thus, you could encounter either of these.